At the same time, I'll probably also try the PvP content when that is introduced.
Uh-huh. That's another idea, is that the PvP, when you have PvP in a game, you go into a PvP space and play against other players.
Yes.
That's an entirely different thing than a lot of the spaces that World of Warcraft creates. Where
it's very much a free-for-all.
Not in all places. There are spaces where you're safe, there are spaces where you're not safe, and then there are PvP spaces. The PvP spaces are fine, the safe spaces are fine, but the parts where people are either A, competing over resources in spaces that are not safe for one side or another, or what's another good one? Even just when you're competing over resources with your own allies, like in dungeons when it's like, you have one drop, we're gonna all roll on it.
Yeah.
And then someone's gonna murder you for it. Where am I going with this? Oh, I'm still going the wrong way. Yeah, those kinds of spaces are really just angry and violent when they don't need to be.
They can be.
And so when the spaces are more clearly defined, it protects players in a lot of ways that they wouldn't otherwise be protected. And that's where it all comes down to the game design itself. I cannot say that enough. Oh, not high enough level yet. Almost there. But just the strengths of, especially an MMO, your design and your systems have to be so confident in themselves. Is actually kind of a weird way of putting it, but the best way that I can think of. If your systems aren't confident in themselves, the players suffer. So if the designers of the game are like, alright, we're just gonna... this will be a space where the allies and their enemies all get together and they'll have to compete for resources. It'll be a lot of fun. But if that's not necessarily how the players want to deal with it, it's totally different. I want a bunch of squirrels I can kill. Squirrels and ladybugs, I want to kill them for their adventurer log stuff.
Oh yeah, those are right outside the Blue Badger Gate as you exit the door.
Yeah, I just ran into like 3 of them and they all had the little half moons over their head. I'm like, oh, I should kill you. I'm sorry, bugs.
Yeah, I keep an eye out for those. The hunting log is a really great way to level up a new class.
Oh, I ran out of ladybugs. Just kidding, they spawn instantly. What was I kidding myself? Okay, anyway, so it's cool. Jobs, everyone gets to be their own individual, and especially in a social place like the link shells create, which I'm kind of sure how they work, but not totally sure yet. That creates another social space where everyone is equal, just different kinds of equal at different times, and so... Like, you have a bunch of different hats that you can put on right now, right?
Yep, I've got like 6 or 8 of them at the moment.
And what's your best hat right now?
Currently my highest level hat is my Arcanist hat, which, or literally my Arcanist Grimoire. It's a book.
Oh, yes.
But at, I think, level 31, at the moment I'm playing as a Conjurer, which becomes a White Mage, a healing class later on, and I'm going to get that up to level 15 so that I can then learn the Scholar job for the Arcanist. After that, though, we get into my Alchemist, and then my Fisherman professions are actually my second highest after the Arcanist combat. So,
okay, so Arcane is not a combat class like the like your White Mage classes, right?
Or the Arcanist is kind of a pet ranged magic damage class.
Oh, that's yes.
Yep. So I've got my little radioactive squirrel running around behind me, and he attacks what I tell him to, and casts spells and all kinds of useful stuff.
Okay, so that is a combat class.
Yep. When you become a scholar, you trade out the squirrel for a pair of fairies, and you use those to heal your party, rather than strictly to attack enemies.
Okay. Very cool. And so that class branches off into 2 different jobs, right?
It does. It's the first one that does so, which is exciting for all of the other classes because they also want more roles to fill.
Cool.
Later on.
So maybe sometime later in this game, as they develop more, my Lancer can become a Dragoon, but maybe it could also become something else.
Yeah, something else, indeed.
Ooh.
It would be something else using a spear, so that could be any number of things, due to kind of how the class and job dichotomy works in this game. The Arcanist, which was new for this 2.0 release, is the first class that has 2 jobs available. It has the Scholar, which summons a fairy as the assist, and then works as a healing over time, and then debuffs to the enemies, kind of healing primary class. And then it also can specialize and become a Summoner, which it summons the spirits of the primal energy essences, and is very much a magic attack kind of class.
Oh, very cool.
So it's cool because the Arcanist can specialize and fill 2 different kinds of roles, either the healing or the attack.
You were talking about the Conjurer.
Yes.
And so that was cool. I love the idea that you can have, you can evolve into multiple jobs. But how does that affect switching between all those jobs?
Well,
I guess
when you unlock a new job by having your primary class at level 30 and then your secondary class at level 15 and then completing a quest line.
Oh, so I have to be level 30 Lancer and then 15 something else?
Yes, to become Dragoon.
Okay. I've got my work cut out for me then.
Yeah, it's... Getting that second class up to spec goes pretty though because you get a 50% experience boost on any job that is more than 2 levels below your highest class.
Very cool.
So I'm sitting here leveling up my Conjurer right now and at 120% experience, or 120% boost at the moment.
Okay, I think I should be able to hear you a little better now.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not totally sure how mumble recording will come over the other sound that's going on. Hopefully clear. Hope everyone's doing okay. I don't have as much control over it because it's all on the same audio track as the game.
Yes. Yep.
Anyway, so I had a big question about this whole link shell thing. Ooh, level up again.
Ask away.
So I'm in a link shell, actually not on this character, not on the server, but normally I'm in a link shell, and we are called the Shirt Ninjas.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
yeah.
Who are they? What is that?
The Shirt Ninjas is an organization that I've been a part of since about 2003.
An organization? Ooh.
Well, organization, loose confederation of people. It's one of the older link shells dating back to the early days of Final Fantasy XI. And I became friends with a lot of people over the years and eventually joined the organization. And these days I'm an officer, and we're all excited to be back and playing Final Fantasy again.
Oh, so so this is a big group that's been playing for a long time?
Yeah.
That I'm kind of invading with my newbieness?
Oh, well, we're always looking for new people. But definitely, probably about 60 or 70 strong, something like that.
Oh, that's awesome. And all of you guys have been playing for a while. Or at least good chunk.
For varying amounts of time. The oldest members have been there since the link shell was founded in about 03.
Since the dawn of time. Wow, '03. So almost 10 years.
Like, yeah, just about 10 years in that first couple of weeks of the launch of Final Fantasy XI.
Oh my gosh. You guys are like old geezers.
Pretty much. A lot of folks have been doing silly things like getting married and having kids and graduated from college and all that stuff.
Aww, with the MMO?
Some,
That's adorable.
Well, you might quit the MMO, but the MMO doesn't quit you.
And so then you got to be a part of this a long time ago.
Yes. And ended up, it's not intended to be a high-end rating organization, but mostly just a friendly social place to talk to people who have similar interests. Although a lot of the players are interested in that high-end stuff, so there are kind of affiliated organizations which do things like schedule high-end raids and so on.
Oh, interesting. And so are a lot of link shells like that? Are they all just kind of like general social groups of people getting together, or is there themes to them in any way? Because it looks like I don't have my link shell ability to be up, but I can get a bunch of link shells.
Yeah, you can have. It's kind of interesting. And in Final Fantasy XI, I'll explain by way of context. You could have a link shell was literally an item that you equipped, and then you could speak into the communal chat channel. And you could only have one equipped at a time, so you could have 5 or 6 on your person, but they take up inventory slots, which are very precious, and you can only speak into one at a time. So what happened in that game is you end up having generally one primary link shell that you spend most of your time in, and maybe a few event-specific ones, where you're like, oh, for my Wednesday night group that I meet up with people and play for a particular activity, I'll have a separate link shell for that, and I'll swap it on when we're doing that activity, and then I'll take it off when we're done.
Oh, okay.
Right? So it wasn't like a guild like you'd see in WoW, where you only can be in one, and you can't change between them at will.
Which got pretty competitive over resources.
Got very competitive over resources, and it was a big deal when somebody changed from one to the other.
Drama!
Drama, indeed. In 11, it was not nearly so bad. You could successfully... Most of the shells that I knew and interacted with said that if you are just a member, feel free to be in our chat channel whenever. If you intend to be an officer, please make this your primary residence.
Okay.
But
so there's kind of a hierarchy to it.
Definitely, it ended up being treated as a hierarchy.
Oh my god, Phil Collins is a thaumaturge. I knew it! I'm looking at him right now.
In 14, though, with the link shell system, they have broadened it such that you can have up to 10 of these total, and they can all be active at once. So you don't have to stop speaking in one to be able to speak in another.
What is going on? I just got a harness? I'm not sure if, like, the clothing is skin-colored or if it's just, like, weird beige color.
Is it like a leather harness?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yep. That is kind of the notorious Lobby gear for Final Fantasy MMOs. It can come in a variety of colors, but it's always a little bit bondagey looking.
I appreciate the bondage look, but the colors just completely clash with my skin tone, and it's just a mess. I've got this...
Better level up and find something else. Or complete the quest to get the access to the different dyes, and then dye it a different color.
Oh, dye sounds so lovely. Nah, I'm just gonna put on my lowest level stuff, because at least the colors are nice. If they're gonna make me look in a very specific way, I'm at least gonna make it look good.
Right on. Yeah, I'm running around in my very silly looking hat that gives me an experience boost. I can't emphasize enough how silly this thing looks.
An extraordinarily silly hat.
Oh yeah.
It's okay, it has to be at least as silly as the Moogle hat.
Oh yes, it is even more silly, if that's possible.
I got a little ball on my head. Oh, I mean, heck, if the eye patch just didn't look so dang cool, I'd probably be Moogling it all the time. Okay, anyway, so link shells. to me, they sound a lot like Reddit channels almost, or the different subreddits.
There's a lot to be said for that. There's actually a very similar dynamic there.
Because you can have a whole bunch of them. Oh dear, dire mites are... And they can all do different functions for you.
Yes.
So you can have some for general chatting. You can have some specifically, for your class or something?
Mm-hmm.
Which is great if you change classes.
Yep, you could have I expect that there are already some link shells that are focused on things like the alchemist link shell, for people who care about alchemy and want to talk about alchemist stuff. Or the fisherman's link shell, for people who want to talk about fishing in the game. Stuff like that. How
much alchemy and how much fishing could there be to talk about that you can't fit into a wiki?
There's a lot. Did
I just say something bad? Is there actually a ginormous amount of...
some of it's down to certain fish only show up in certain weather conditions, and whoa, I'm here fishing and it's the right weather, come out here if you want to catch this special fish, and stuff like that. Which, you can read about it on a wiki, but the wiki won't tell you if that time is now.
Oh, okay, that's true.
Or...
What about alchemy?
With alchemy, I don't know. There is a lot you can read about on a wiki, but there's also a lot of value in speaking with people who are experts or trying to become experts in their own right.
That's cool.